Hey everybody, Cobra DVS and Neoflynn here again.
Hey everybody.
Um, episode 8 this time around. Um, and I've got to open up the episode because I don't have it and I need to read the comments. But so yeah, let's wish the internet was a little faster because I could get there quicker, but alright, there it is. Okay, so we'll start off like always with some comments. Yep, alright, so we'll start with the 64-bit glasses. He says, you should do a live RattleCast. Well, I mean,
I'm not sure
I
how that
would
would work.
I would do it, I guess, but I'm not sure the audience is quite big enough to... Plus, I don't even know how to do it, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd even...
What's
I guess
that?
we could do a live stream, but that
Yeah,
wouldn't really be the same thing. We couldn't do it at the same time. I don't know.
yeah, I have no idea how it works. Okay, Intellivision Dude says, sounds like Cobra has a habit of starting games and not finishing them. You say quite often, I played a few minutes of this and a few minutes of that, lol. He hit the nail right on the head.
I'm the same way, too.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many games that I've started and not finished. In fact, what I'm trying to do right now is sort of wrap those games up. Like, right now well, I'll talk about that later, but I'm gonna, after I'm done beating this game, I'm gonna try and finish up Super Mario Galaxy 2, because I've had that for about 2 years almost, and I haven't beaten it, so.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that. Like, I start so many things and never finish them.
Yeah.
So...
Usually if it's like a shooter or something, I don't have a problem finishing those. Like a Halo or something like that. There's no doubt about that. I'll finish it. But. Alright, he says, I agree with Waluigi. While most people don't like him or don't know who he is, I use him every time I play Mario Party. I never use him for anything, I don't think.
Yeah, we're not a fan. I use Wario. Like, he's my character in Mario Party, but not Waluigi.
Okay, he goes, Intellivision Dude, one more time. He says, I'm sure I already discussed this with you in the past, Cobra, but I was once super addicted to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I still have hundreds of custom coasters I downloaded years ago. Maybe someday I'll put them on a disc and mail them to you. I wouldn't know what to do with that disc quite, but I'd certainly take it. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was never a fan of, like, pre-built coasters. I always tailored them to whatever I was trying to
Oh,
do.
certainly, yeah. That was the whole thing about the game to me, was making the roller coasters. Other than that, it was a good game and all, but building those coasters was fun. That's why the unlimited money was awesome, because you could make the roller coaster is infinite, it's as big as you want. Okay, in his last comment, he says, for once I didn't have to talk about Paper Mario since you did it for me. Okay. LV Peppy 38 says, great episode, guys. And Mr. B Lands, a.k.a. James, says, the worst the worst video game experience of my life was with Mario Party 1. Everybody remember the now removed minigame where you had to spin the analog stick in a circle? I put the palm of my hand on the analog stick to get more rotations. In 20 minutes later, a huge blood blister popped, terrifying my friends and I and ruining my controller. I'll never forgive the series for that horrible moment. I That's really funny. I know perfectly what he's talking about. I don't know the mini games, but I definitely remember putting my palm on that joystick and rotating it back and forth in a circle. It sucked.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever had, like, a horrible gaming injury like that, but I don't think... I mean, I've gotten, like, calluses on my thumbs during some marathon Halo sessions, but that's not the worst I've gotten.
I think probably the worst that's ever happened to me is, like, in Guitar Hero when you play and, like, your hands just start to hurt so bad.
Yeah.
That happens to me usually with my right hand on the frets, because I play left-handed, so... But, yeah, if you haven't played in a while... And it hurts so bad after a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for the comments. So we can go ahead and start up some news. Nick, you can start her up.
Okay. Well, we might as well start with our legal segment because, what we do. Keeping up the streak of having some sort of legal news. And of course it's the ongoing saga of Modern Warfare, EA, Activision, all that good stuff. But this one is that Activision and Infinity Ward actually settled their case over Modern Warfare 2 royalties, apparently out of court before it was. I guess it was supposed to start. The trial was supposed to start tomorrow. Well, today, if you're listening to this, but tomorrow as we record. But it was originally supposed to start the 29th of May, but then they pushed it back. And it's the case between West and Zampinella, the two guys that Activision fired right after Modern Warfare 2 came out. And they were claiming, that they were still owed royalty payments over the game, which Activision never paid, which later revealed that it was $27 million that they were owed, which is quite a bit. This doesn't say what they actually settled, but that the terms are strictly confidential, so we probably won't ever find out what it was. But so that part of it is done. And I guess the case also included a group of nearly 40 Infinity Ward employees that were suing for unpaid bonuses. And that's the part that Activision, or not Activision, but the EA kind of hopped onto, but they settled that part. Remember, we talked about that last time. So, So hopefully that's the end of that whole mess. But we'll see. They'll probably find something else to each other over.
Right, yeah. Seems like this has been going on for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, since the game came out, basically, because, they fired him shortly after the game came out, so it's been going on for a while.
I don't want to make any, I don't know if I want to say it, but couldn't they pick a better game to fight over? I didn't like this one very much.
Yeah, well, enough people do, I guess.
Yeah.
$27 million worth.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got two here that I'm pretty excited for. I don't know which one I want to start with. All right, we'll do this one. So there was actually two Castlevania games released, announced the other day. The first one is I don't know much about that one. I didn't really read anything, but it's a sequel to Lord of Shadow, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard. But there's another one that's been announced for the 3DS. It's called Castlevania Mirror of Fate. I heard you could play as Trevor, which is his son, I believe. And then I think Simon's in it as well. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure I heard Simon was as well. But when I was reading this, the people who dealt with Lords of Shadow, I don't recall the name of the company, but they're involved in this one. So I kind of thought, Mercury Steam, that's their name. So I kind of thought that maybe it would have a chance of being like a 3D type game, like Lords of Shadow was. Mm-hmm. But turns out it's going to be actually a 2D. Well, I think they call it like a 2.5D or something, because it's going to be in 3D with the 3DS, but it's going to be like the side-scrolling type, like the DS ones, which, I don't know, I'm a little disappointed in, to be honest with you. I kind of was hoping for a 3D type game. I think the 3DS could handle it, no doubt about it, but I don't know. I only played one of the Metroidvania type Castlevania games, and it's Portrait of Ruin on the DS, so I'm much more familiar with the 3D, because I actually played Lords of Shadow and really liked it, so...
Yeah, I guess this is supposed to be a sequel to Lords of Shadow, is what it's saying, so...
I also heard that the console one is a sequel. Now, I don't know how true that is, but I'm not sure how a same game can have two sequels without conflict... Well, I don't know, maybe one takes place after the other, but...
Who knows?
Okay, so... Oh, I didn't catch this part at first. It says the game is called Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate. Okay, I thought it was just called Mirror of Fate. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's going to be on the cover of Nintendo Power, which I think just came out, the Nintendo Power did, so... Pretty excited. Could be more excited about it, but I'll take it. There's also a Contra game coming out for the 3DS at some point, so...
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to my other one, which is another kind of cool gaming announcement,
Mm-hmm.
which our fans will no doubt be happy about. Microsoft and Epic will debut a new Gears of War title at E3, so gives you something to look forward to at E3. The sequel, which was not identified by name, apparently it's going to be in the new Game Informer. They have a cover story of it. But they apparently didn't say what it was called yet. It appears to be set on Sarah, star of COG soldiers, and a mysterious man in handcuffs. And the article is like, we don't know anyone like that, do we? So, I'm based on this, I'm thinking it's going to be a prequel.
That's what I would assume.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they think, that it'll be during the Pendulum Wars, that leads up to Marcus being arrested, which is where Gears of War starts. So, it'll be interesting to see exactly what it's going to be. Hopefully we get a trailer or something at E3.
Mm-hmm.
But we love our Gears here at RattleCast, so...
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
But yeah, the cover Game Informer is actually pretty cool. You can see, like, the locust and stuff behind him, and then you just see the guy in handcuffs, but you can't tell. He's all covered in shadows. So
I'm assuming that's Marcus.
It's got to be. Like,
yeah.
Because the highlight of the cover is the handcuffs, so
right.
Your natural assumption is that it's got to be Marcus. So hopefully this, as a prequel, because that would be kind of cool to.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
Prior to that.
I when I first heard that that Gears of War 3 was going to be the last one, they always say that, and then it's sort of like, well, they can always do something, and they usually do. And I remember talking to a few friends of mine saying, if they do something, I guarantee it'll be a prequel. So
yeah, it almost has to be because
so that'll be cool. No, well, I guess we don't really know anything, so they wouldn't have any sort of tentative release date or anything, would they?
No, yeah, just very early, but
okay.
I'm sure it'll be next year, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. This is something that, like, this is, like, the kind of thing that I never expected. And I gotta be honest, I'm pretty excited that it's, a real thing that's gonna happen. But, it's Doom 3, the BFG edition, which is a, like, it's Doom 3, but with the updated graphics for the Xbox 360. HD graphics, I guess is what you'd call it. But, yeah, so that's basically what it is. It's Doom 3, but it's got a bunch of cool features in it. It's going to have, let's see, it's going to have the original Doom 3 game. It's going to have, I think I heard 7 new levels. I'm pretty sure I read that. 7 new levels. And it's also going to include Resurrection of Evil, which was the expansion pack for Doom 3. And then it's also going to have Doom 1 and 2. So, I mean, you're getting a lot here. And they don't have a price or anything here, but I'm guessing it'll probably be 60 unless they go the way of Combat Evolved Anniversary. But I'm guessing it'll be 60. But for the $60, it's a pretty good amount of, like, content.
Yeah, it's not bad. I could see them charging the 60 and not feeling too bad about it.
Right, yeah. It also has achievements and trophies, oddly enough. But that's supposed to be coming out later this year, in the fall, I think. So that's awesome. And did you ever play Doom 3? I wanted to ask you this.
I think I played it for like a minute, but I never spent an enormous amount of time with it.
So yet another game you started.
Right, yeah. I like Doom, but I've never been like a huge Doom fan, so it just wasn't something that I played.
Oh man, I'm big into Doom. It's definitely whenever there's a Doom game, I'm right there. But yeah, this was I remember getting this. I got the collector's edition because it came in a tin case, and it came with Doom 1 and 2. It was sweet. And I played this, and I remember going through it I had a strategy guide for it. So I've actually never played the game on my own. I've always had that strategy guide, so I'll definitely be getting this. So I'll go through it strategy guide less, and that'll be sweet. Now we could move on to the gaming spotlight, but I want to ask you a question because I don't know if I know you saw my post in Rob's group because you mentioned it.
Yeah.
You commented in it, and I wanted to bring it up here because I think it's fitting. I'll go ahead and tell the story real quick. I'll try and make this as quick as I can. All right, so there's this guy on YouTube. His name's NecroVMX, and he does video game playthroughs with a commentary. Like he'll pick an NES game, play it while commenting, and say how it is, how shitty, good, whatever it is. Well, he has a Facebook page, and I check out his channel. I enjoy his channel. I enjoy his videos. I enjoy his stuff. So I support him I liked him on Facebook, which you should also do with us, by the way. I didn't mention that, but you should also do that. And so I liked him on Facebook, and he had a post. Actually, he's the one that originally I found out that there were some new Castlevania games coming out. So I checked out his post, and I commented and said something about Doom 3 BFG and 2 Castlevania games announced in the same day, and how awesome that was. And then some people commented, and somebody asked about what's Doom 3 BFG, and he explained, it's like a Doom 3 but with HD graphics, like a remake almost. And then he said, and then somebody commented and said, kind of like Combat Evolved Anniversary, Halo, the Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. He said, no, not like that, because Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary wasn't an HD re-release, it was a straight-up remake. Okay, well, then I commented, and I was like, I'm not really sure how that wouldn't... I'm not think Halo Anniversary was a straight-up remake. I'm pretty sure it was an HD re-release, like the original game with HD graphics, is what I was saying. And he said, no, the game, it was built from the ground up with new graphics. It's not the same game with new textures. He says it's not, and I said it is. And at one point, he just said, okay, well, I'm done arguing with you because I can't argue stupid or something like that. Which was, he's a terrible you can't debate with the guy. I don't know if you've ever checked out his YouTube channel. Whenever anybody says something that he doesn't agree with, he just insults them and doesn't put forth any effort to continue the, discussion.
Right.
But anyway, so then I made a post in Rob's group, and I asked people, what do you think? Is it a remake? Combat Evolved Anniversary we're talking about. Is it a remake, or is it an HD re-release? I say it's an HD re-release, because you can clearly see it's the original game with new graphics. There's a few new things in there. I think you mentioned skulls.
Yeah, like I said...
Things, but it certainly was not a game made from the ground up.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I think it's somewhere in between, because it's not a straight-up remake, because, my big example of why it wasn't remade from the ground up is because you can switch to the original graphics on the fly at any time. So, obviously, they just retextured the old game, or you wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, I guess you could if they went, took the time to put all the old textures in there, too, while they were building it up, but why would they do that? So, but it's not just a re-release, because they did add stuff, like the skulls, they did achievements, and the skulls and terminals, and there's other little Easter eggs and stuff that they've added in there. So I think it's somewhere in between, because it's not one or the other, it's kind of a mix of both, if that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I guess when I say it's a re-release, I guess that doesn't really limit it to being the exact same game. Like this game, like Doom 3 BFG, it's not going to be the exact same game. There's going to be 7 new levels. I'd say this is I don't know what you call this really. Is I don't know. I guess calling it a BFG edition makes sense, but so I thought that was something to bring up, because
it's an interesting argument. Where's the line on what?
It's kind of a dumb argument, to be honest with you. It's pointless. There's no, we're not arguing politics or the fate of the country or anything. It's just, I don't know. But I'm throwing my hat in. If I had to pick one, remake or HD re-release, I'm throwing in with the HD re-release, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I would lean more towards that.
Especially with his definition of what a remake would be, which is a game built from the ground up, which is certainly not the case.
Yeah.
But, all right, so we sort of spilled over a little tangent there. Just wanted to mention that. So, we can go ahead and move on. And Nick, you picked it the gaming spotlight this week, so you can go ahead and set her up.
Yeah, I just thought it would be interesting to kind of discuss something that's just occurred in this last generation of gaming. It wasn't really around before that, and that is the achievements and trophies, and whether they're good or whether they're terrible, and like, are they good for gaming? Which I don't know. We didn't really talk about this before the show, so I don't know where you're going to come down on what side. But I think that they're great for the most part if they're done right. Like, there's a lot of stupid ones out there, but I think when they're done right, I think they're really cool because it gives you a reason to maybe play a game longer or try something different in the game that you may not have tried before. Like, we're talking about Halo Combat Anniversary, which is a great example because there's certain trophies in there that task you with doing, or achievements that task you with doing certain things in a level that you may not normally have tried. Like, I know one of them is like the when you first land on Halo to shoot down the 3 banshees that are flying around up there, which you normally wouldn't do that because they're just there, but you get an achievement if you do it. So, like, I think in that case they're really good, but there's some really stupid ones out there.
There's a few that are notable that I hate, but yeah, I say we're on the same boat here. I certainly have nothing against them. I think they're fun, and they certainly add some replayability to the game. There's games that I've like, let's say the new Halo 4. Let's say Halo 4. When Halo 4 comes out, I'm probably going to do it in this order. I'll play it on Heroic, and I'm not really going to look for a bunch of the extras. I'm sure there'll be skulls or something. I'm not gonna like go hardcore looking for them. I'll play it. That's an achievement there. I'll probably play it on Heroic. That's an achievement. Then I'll probably replay it on Legendary. Again, not really looking for anything. Another achievement for doing that. And then, at some point, and it could be a few months break, or it could be like the next week or the next day, I'll play the game, probably on normal, just to kind of make it easier on myself, go through and get what I need to get. Skulls, terminals, whatever it is. And if the game had no achievements, really, legitimately, I'd probably play the game once, and then maybe a while later I'd probably play it maybe again. But there's really no reason to play it again, other than just to have fun and play it.
Yeah. And
I think that is a little bit where I don't like achievements a little bit, because I remember when I got my Xbox 360 and I started getting these achievements, and it's like, they're addicting to get. And then when you sort of go back to like the Wii or something, and it's like, I just play this for fun. I don't get anything.
Right, I don't
it's
get
anything. Kind of a downer. You get like unlockable characters or something like that, but I don't know. There's something about an achievement, and I think probably part of it has to do with your gamer score that shows. Yeah. Okay, look how sweet this is.
Well, especially now, like, in the recent Xbox update, like now, PlayStation had done this for a while, but Xbox just finally did it, where like if you get an achievement, you can share it and like post it to your Facebook and stuff. Like, I think that's kind of cool because it gives you something tangible, like, hey, I freaking did this in a game, and it's like nearly impossible, and I did it, and here's my proof, Like, I got one last night in the original Trials, which I'll talk about later, but when we're talking about thing, but it was like impossible, and it took me forever. And so as soon as I got it, like, I immediately shared it to Facebook and like, take that, suckers! Like, I got this one. So I think it's cool for like bragging rights and things like that, especially if it's something really hard. Like that's one that I can think of. It's called unyielding, and you have to like do this certain level without tilting your rider at all. Like, you can only use the gas and the brake.
Is this on that one game?
On Trials, yeah, the original one. I went back and started playing the original again just because it's so fun. But and this was part of the reason was to get this stupid achievement, because it unlocks something in the new one if you have that achievement. So that's why I went back. And like, there was one in, I can't remember what year it was, but one year of NCAA football, they had this bowling mini game where like you had to score touchdowns, and a touchdown was a strike. If it took you 2 plays, it was a spare. And there was an achievement for getting a perfect game, which, meant scoring 12 touchdowns in a row. Oh. And like, I tried that thing forever trying to get it, and like, it actually felt like a great sense of accomplishment when you finally got it. But like, I hate when they do ones that are impossible to get. Like, that's what pisses me off.
Yeah. I've had my fair share of difficult achievements. Notably, the one that was probably the hardest on ODST getting Endure was, it was that. You had to endure it. There's no lying in that. That's truth in advertising, that achievement. It was, if it's what it is it's, All right, let me think. It's you have to finish 4-player co-op and heroic or higher firefight on ODST. You have to complete. Is it 4 sets?
I don't remember.
I think it's 4 sets, which there's like 3 waves, or there's 5 waves in one game, and there's 3 games in one set. So that's 15 waves times 4, which is 60. So 60 waves of enemies on heroic. And that was so difficult. And the reason I wanted to get it is it was a VidMaster achievement, which is in Halo 3 was worth 0 gamer score. In ODST, they actually gave them points. But but if you got them all, you got to unlock the recon armor, which you could use in online. And recon armor was a big deal back then. Before everybody got it. Reach has, everybody has recon.
Yeah.
Uses it anyway, but that was a big one. And one more that gave me such hell is in Rage. There's an achievement called 5-Finger Fillet, and there's this game you can go, and it's like a mini game. You go into this bar, and there's this guy who's. Have you ever seen people play the game? I know it's in like Aliens, where they stab the knife between their fingers.
Yeah. It's in Red Dead Redemption too.
Okay. Well, there's an achievement for there's 5 rounds, and the game's called 5-Finger Fillet. And you have to, it starts off pretty easy. First round, it's like, that finger, that finger, that finger, that, it goes in succession. The 4th round, or the 2nd round, it's a little quicker, and then you have to go 2 rounds, and then the 3rd round, it's a little quicker. But the 5th round, it is completely random. So what you have is you have your hand laying on the table, and the other hand moves automatically. And you have to press A in the space between each finger that's highlighted. And it is so hard because it doesn't move terribly fast, but it moves fast enough to where you have to be glaring at. And it's completely random every time, completely different. If you get a space right next to a space that you just hit, forget about it. It's nearly impossible to react that quick. I finally got it after about, I'd say I spent a good 2 hours on that single thing. I didn't even want to see the word finger. Or look at a hand or anything after that. But I got it. So,
yeah,
that's good.
It's like, I think the perfect game is one where you play through once and you probably get maybe half the achievements. And then the other half is going back through the levels and, finding a certain thing or, trying to do one certain thing. I think that's the perfect way to do them.
Yeah.
I hate games that you play for hours and hours and hours and you don't get anything. It's what the hell do I have to do?
A perfect example of that is Sonic Unleashed. I have that game. I haven't played, granted I haven't played a ton of it, but I played 2 hours total, 3 hours maybe. Not very much, but enough. I think I have 1 achievement maybe. And it's you look at them and it's these are so tedious and boring. I don't want to do these. And I also hate when there's a bunch of online achievements.
Yeah.
For games that online isn't really the biggest, I don't know, the best or the most, there's something that you're really not going to probably play that much.
Yeah.
A good example would be, last week I talked about I was playing the game Wolfenstein. Well, that game came out 4 years ago. Nobody plays that online. I don't really want to, and half the achievements are get this many kills, do this map, complete a game in every map. I can't get those now.
Yeah.
The online achievements for a game like in Halo or Call of Duty, where a lot of people play, okay, it's probably pretty easy to get that, but yeah, these games that nobody plays online hardly, these online achievements are stupid.
Yeah, it's annoying when there's too many online ones or impossible online ones.
Yeah. I hate when there's collectibles. I like collectibles going through games, but I hate when there's so many that you just can't even fathom getting them all. Like in Assassin's Creed, there's 100 feathers in that whole game. I have 15, and I've looked for them. So forget that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's some games I've gotten games just so I can hoard achievements from them.
You know what? I'd be lying if I told you I haven't done so.
I think everybody's done that, but I have the backyard sports games and stuff that I got from GameFly just specifically because they were easy to get achievements.
Oh,
Which I kind of feel bad about, but then I really don't. Like,
Right. Well, yeah,
then I look at my gamer score and I feel better about myself. So.
If you want a quick 1000 G, there's a couple games that I've heard of. Fight Night Round 3, I've heard extremely easy. There's only like 5 achievements. There's a Naruto, however you say it. It's on that Nickelodeon show.
Yeah.
Avatar. Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's not a Nickelodeon show.
No, it's Avatar. You can get it in like 5 minutes.
Okay,
like,
it's Avatar, not Naruto.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's yeah. There's like a couple achievements. And
yeah, I've had that game on the top of my gameplay list for like ever. I never get it because I want it just for the 1,000 gamer points.
Oh shit. And the one that I've done it with, for the most part, is Peter Jackson's King Kong on the 360. It's I think there's 5 achievements, and you just get them for completing, like getting so far in the game. Like get this far, you get that achievement, get that far,
Right,
and if you beat the game, eventually you get the whole thing. And it's a good game. It's a fun game. You know, so playing through it's not really that big of a deal, but you know, it's a quick 1,000 gamer score, which is always nice to see.
It's an interesting debate. It'll be interesting to see if they stick around for the new console.
Doesn't Steam have them?
Probably. I know Windows Live games do now too. So I'm sure Steam probably does too.
I've heard that. I want to say I heard this. I think I heard this that Nintendo's next console is gonna have something along the lines of achievements.
I mean, I think they almost have to, like,
yeah,
just to keep up. But.
Right. So they need to improve online and have achievements.
Have achievements.
But the thing with like a lot of Nintendo games, like they've always had a bunch of unlockables as achievements, if you know, sort of as a replacement. Like Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I mean, you can unlock X amount of characters. You know, stages. Mario Kart, same thing, and characters, stages. You know, so there's not really there are achievements in a sense, but you just don't. There's not quite the same gratification because you can't really show it. I mean, it doesn't show online that I have this done like it does an achievement.
Right. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I like them. I think people get a little bit addicted, and they sort of like it almost like ruins certain games. I remember, like I didn't really get addicted, but I got to where I wanted achievements and. Going back and playing a game like, Super Mario 64, what the hell's the point? I don't get anything for doing this.
Yeah.
I'm out of that phase now. It's sort of like, you just play them to have fun.
Yeah, it kind of spoils you, because you want that tangible thing from everything.
Sure, certainly. But it's always nice to hear that little doop.
Yeah.
Locked, It's always nice. By the way, trophies. Trophies on the PS3, I've never experienced that. Are they literally like the same thing?
It's essentially the same thing. Their system works a little bit different. Like there's different levels of trophies. Like you'll have gold, like silver, gold, bronze, and then platinum is usually the hardest one in the game. And then like you get levels instead of an actual gamer score. Like it just counts your trophies, how many you have, and then based on that you get certain levels. So it's the same kind of thing. It just the scoring is a little bit different. But usually games that are released on both, they'll have the same achievements / trophies will be exactly the same. It's just the different system. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they're essentially the same thing.
All right. Okay. Well, yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say about them. I bet they continue. By the way, I think you said you mentioned that. I bet next generation, I'm sure they'll have it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will too, because it seems to be, it's something people talk about. So I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it's not anything hard to do for game companies. I don't think so.
I would think not. Plus, I like them re-releasing games like Halo and this new Doom with achievements. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, gives you a reason to play it again.
Yeah.
Try different things. So.
All right. Well, what's next? Game of the week, which you've picked.
I picked again.
Yeah.
Hey, I struggled with this one for a little while, and then this one just popped in my head for some random reason, and I'm like, okay, that's a great game. And that is Blaster Master on the original NES. I just remember having so much fun with this game back then. Like, I tried to go back and play it now, and I suck at it. But it's just, it's a fun game. Like, the story is so strange. Like,
Did you actually? If you watch that like cutscene in the
The little
beginning,
opening video, yeah.
yeah, it's like that guy's frog
Yeah, you
gets it.
play as this kid and his frog escapes and hops out the door, and for some reason he's got this giant box of radioactive waste in his front yard. So the frog jumps on the box of radioactive waste and turns into a giant frog and falls through the ground, and then he jumps in the ground after him, and there's a magic tank down there. So that's how the game starts. So I guess you're trying to rescue your frog through the whole game.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the first games that I can remember that wasn't linear. Like
Mhm.
you kind of have to explore the level and figure out where you're supposed to go. And it's got it's got the side-scrolling kind of platform elements where you're driving the tank and kind of jumping through the level, and then you can actually get out of your tank, in which you have to do at certain points to go into the different doors and stuff, and then you're just your guy shooting through the level. But I think everybody's familiar with this game at this point. But
I
if
would
you're
think
not,
so. Yeah.
if you're not, go play it.
Yeah. I was getting ready for, because you told me it was the game of the week. I actually played it for probably a good hour today. And I had played it before and I had fun with it, but I could never get past the first level. And it's like, okay, I just kept like going around and I could not find a place to go. And I'd find these ladders. Okay, well I can't climb these ladders. This tank won't go up the ladders. And I'd see these doors and it's like, okay, well how do I get in these?
You couldn't figure out how to
And
get up.
today, for the first time, I figured out you can get out of the tank.
Right.
I had no idea. And get this, I still couldn't get past the first level because I didn't know what to do.
Where to go, yeah.
And let's see, there's this part in the first level where you approach this door that like shoots stuff at you. And you can get these different weapons, like there's a homing missile and a three-way missile shoots like three missiles at the same time. And I just unloaded on this door and it would not do it. It didn't do anything. So I didn't know what to do.
That's actually the door to the second level, and you have to beat the first boss before you can go through that door.
Where's the first boss at? How do you get him?
He's in an underwater part where it's towards the bottom of the level, and it's underwater, and there's a big giant ladder that goes up, and that's where the boss is.
Maybe it's a different ladder, but
there's two different underwater parts. Like there's one part that just takes you to one door, and there's another that takes you to the actual boss stage. But
I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely one game that like you want a strategy guide or like a walkthrough for.
Yeah.
Totally lost.
I noticed while playing once I figured out you could actually get out of the tank and climb the ladders and go through those doors. When you're like inside, when you go in the doors and you're playing as your character, the kid there, he looks an awful lot like Bomberman.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he's got that like rounded square head. He looks a lot like him.
Yeah, apparently when he found the tank, there was like a nice little suit of armor for him too.
Yeah.
In the intro video, he's just some regular kid, but.
And this goes along with a couple weeks what we said, but the music in this game is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
It's so catchy.
Yeah. Like there's a glitch to help you beat. I think it's the first, the fourth, and the seventh bosses. Like if you throw a grenade and pause the game while the grenade is inflicting damage, and you leave it paused for like a minute, and then you unpause it, the boss will die. Like it keeps doing damage while the game is paused. So that was one way to get through like the first boss. And sadly, it doesn't work in emulation. I found that out today.
No,
I was like, come on, you gotta emulate the glitches too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those classic games. Like, I don't think I ever managed to beat it, because it is pretty hard, especially later
on. I was flipping through the manual because I got to that door, and I didn't know what to do, so I thought maybe in the manual it'd say something about these doors. It turns out it didn't really. But in the very back of the manual, it gives you the specs for like your player, I think, and then it gives you the specs for that tank. I want you to guess the horsepower that tank has.
1,000.
16,000.
16,000.
16,000 horsepower.
That is one hell of a tank.
Yeah. So I should just be able to plow through that door that shoots at me. 16,000 horsepower? Are you kidding me? Nothing can like stop me.
Right.
I don't even know what the power of an actual tank is. Now I'm kind of curious about that, but
Yeah.
it's 16,000. Holy
I
hell!
doubt it. 16,000, but. And then of course there was a not a re-release and not even a sequel, but there was a second Blaster Master that was released on the PlayStation. But it is awful, and we shouldn't talk about it.
Is it awful? I
It's pretty.
had it at one point, but like I said, I don't have a
Yeah,
play.
I own it, but it's not anything great. I mean, I guess it's not terrible, but it's not true to the original. I'll say that much.
Did you actually know there is a Blaster Master 2? I don't know, on the Genesis. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah. I've been looking around for it, kind of off and on. I've never played it. I'm on Wikipedia. Let's see what it's like here.
I'm gonna have to look at gameplay now.
Yeah, it looks alright. Yeah, gameplay would be a good idea. I've heard it's not as good. It's made by the same people, Sunsoft there. But yeah, there's actually it's interesting. There are like a lot of games that have sequels on the Genesis that like I'd never known about. Like Strider. There's a sequel to Strider. Well, it's the original Strider's on the Genesis, but there's a Strider on there's a Rastan sequel on that. There's like a lot of these like unknown Genesis sequels. And have you checked out gameplay for this yet?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay,
It doesn't look terrible.
I don't know if you've got the music, but it's like pure Genesis music.
Yeah.
It's like really metallic and what have you.
Yeah, it looks very, very much like the original, but with...
Yeah, it does look pretty good, doesn't it?
Cool. Yeah,
I might have to give this one a shot. Yeah, but yeah, yeah, like I said though, I did have that, oh, hold on a second. You read comments, this comment says, wow, they really fucked up the sequel. Glad I never bought this one, even though I really wanted to. Huh. And then the guy who made the video replies, I wasn't too impressed with the sequel, but I also never got into the first one either. It's good to hear an opinion of the second one from someone who liked the first. He replies, the first one is absolute classic. If you've ever played it, you should. The music, graphics, gameplay was all superb. And he replies one more time, I'm currently doing a series on my channel called NES Timeline. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So apparently it's not that great.
not good.
It looked fine to me. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it played like crap. Who knows?
Yeah.
And apparently, James told me this when I told him what we were going to talk about this week. Apparently, there's a new one coming out. I think he said on like Wii Virtual Console or something. So I'm trying to look up to see if I can find anything about it, which nothing is working.
Blaster Master Wii. Oh. Well, I put in Blaster Master Wii, and this came up a review from IGN. It's just the original. Okay. Blaster Master Overdrive, is that it?
Could be.
Yeah, here's a review from OneUp.com. Gave her a B.
Yeah, 6.5. I guess it's already out. Okay. I thought it was coming, but I guess it is out.
I've never heard of this one. Yeah, they're saying, well, who knew there's so many Blaster Master games?
Right.
So you said the PlayStation 1 sucks, huh?
Yeah, it's not great.
What's wrong with it? Like,
It's just not true to the original. Like, it just plays totally different. So. It's kind of like one of those fake 3D/2D ones. But
I noticed there's a lot of games on like the PlayStation. Like Missile Command has a remake kind of on there. Centipede, there's one of those. I guess Blaster Master doesn't really fit in with those games necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. So anyway, the original good. The sequel apparently not so good.
Not so good.
The PlayStation version utter crap. And the Wii version tends to be okay. So there you have it.
That about sums up the series, I guess.
Yeah. As far as I know, anyway, there's probably more that we've never heard of.
Right.
But yep. All right. Well, if we're done with Blaster Master, I don't think I have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, go play it. Like we always say when we...
Yeah. Every game of the week, you should give a shot at least, emulate it or something. All right, well, we can go ahead and finish up here. This one will be a little shorter than normal, but we can finish up with what we're playing. And why don't you go ahead and start, because mine's going to be painfully short.
Mine's actually pretty short too,
Oh.
because I haven't played much new. I've been playing the same old stuff,
Likewise.
but I played a little bit. Like I was mentioning earlier, I went back and started playing the old Trials. One, because I wanted to unlock that achievement to unlock the bike in the new Trials. But two, just to kind of, I never finished playing all the levels, so I kind of wanted to at least play through every level in the game. So we talked about it before, but it's ridiculously fun, and yeah, it's just one of those games like you wouldn't expect it to be as much fun as it is, because it sounds so simple, like you're riding a bike through ramps and stuff, but it is ridiculously fun. And that achievement was a challenge. But like it felt good to get it. And other than that, trying to think if I played anything else there. Oh yeah, James will like this one because he's been harping on me. And we talked about this before. Is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which I have the Xbox Live Arcade version, and I had played it a little bit before. Like I think I spent like maybe half an hour with it. But I started it over, and I didn't play very long, but I played like 20 minutes. And, like it's one of the, like, it's kind of shows its age, but it's good. Like you start off actually fighting Dracula. It feels like the end of the game at the beginning, but
yeah, that's the level you play as the in the demo, like at the beginning there.
And but yeah, it's good. Like it's platforming, which James will tell you I don't get along very well with old school platforming. But I'm enjoying it so far. I'm gonna actually try and play all the way through. So we'll see how it.
I love the in the beginning, that voice acting.
Yeah,
it's so out. It seems so out of place.
Like that part of it kind of shows its age, but the gameplay itself isn't bad. So.
Yeah, from the demo I played, it seems all right. I'm sure once I got into it, I'd probably enjoy it. I wish they'd like remake it or put it out for like download on the eShop channel for the 3DS or something. Because that seems like a game that I'd really like to play on the go.
On the go.
Or not necessarily on the go, but just something I could quickly, flip open the 3DS and play for a few minutes, Which, there are the DS versions, but everybody seems to think that Symphony of the Night is like the king of the Castlevania.
Yeah, the go-to.
Yeah. So I'd like to see, which it probably won't happen, because it was who owns the rights? Konami.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't know. I guess it's as likely as anything. So, because I know it was also on. I think there was a version on the Saturn as well when it originally came out. I know there's a Castlevania game on the Saturn. I don't know if it's Symphony of the Night, but I thought it was. And then it's on the Xbox Live. If I was gonna get it, that's probably the one I was gonna get.
Yeah.
Because actually, the PlayStation one's like $30 and up. So, whatever. So, and Television Dude's been like you said, James has been harping you about that.
Yeah.
And Television Dude's the same way. So you're not alone. All right. Well, if you thought yours was short, mine's even shorter. I've literally I'm still playing Skyward Sword, and I hope this to be the last week I have to mention that game. Because it seems like every time you play the game, and it's really fun, it's a really great game, but I thought I was at the end because I opened up, spoiler alert here, hardly, but I opened up the Temple of Time. And this sounds like something that would be near the end of the game. Well, I open the Temple of Time, and then I find out I have to get the Triforce. I have to find the Triforce. And it's hidden on Skyloft, which is this land in the sky where where Link and Zelda and all them live. It's hidden somewhere, but nobody knows where it is. So I have to go see this giant monster in this storm cloud in the sky. I have to beat him, and then it turns out he's actually a good guy, but he was like possessed or something. And then he tells me he knows how I can find it, and I have to find 4 parts. I have to find a song called, I think it's like the Song of the Hero or something, and there's 4 parts. He gives me one of them, and then I have to travel all the way back to the 3 lands I've visited. It's the desert, fire area, and the forest, and talk to 3 dragons and get the other 3 parts of the song. And then finally, once I get the song, I go back and talk to him. Hopefully he'll show me where the Triforce is, and hopefully that's the end of the game. Because I don't want to have him tell me, well, now I find the Triforce, but it's divided into 3 pieces, so you've got to go all around here and find it again.
Right.
which I honestly wouldn't be too surprised, but I don't think that's how it's going to happen. But good God, it's like you finish one thing just to find out you have 3 more things to do before that one thing counts for anything.
Typical, like, RPG.
Yeah, it's certainly, I don't want to say it's frustrating, because it keeps the game going. I mean, the game's long as hell. But, yeah, I think I have 3 out of the 4 parts of the song, so I gotta get the last one, and then hopefully I'm done. And then I can finish up some games that I haven't started, or haven't finished. Finish up games I haven't finished. And then one more game, and this is quick. It's Mario Kart 7. I took quite a break from this game, but I found out that there's a mode that you can unlock that I haven't. It's the mirror mode, which is 150cc, like the hardest difficulty, but the tracks are like reversed. Like you don't drive through them backwards or anything, but where you turned left, now it's a right-hand turn, like
right, yeah,
flipped image. So. I don't. It's been in like every Mario Kart since the Double Dash, I think. So I actually think it was in the game because I got first place in all the trophies, and you get ratings like stars, like 1, 2, or 3. And I got at least a 1 star in everyone. And I think under the 1 star, I think it starts going to like ABC. But I got in first place in all the trophies, and I didn't unlock mirror mode. And I was like, oh. I guess they didn't have it in this one.
And
well, my friend got a 3DS, and he told me, hey, they actually do have a mirror mode, and here's how you get it. You got to get 3 stars in every track, or every cup, in 50cc and 100cc. And right now I'm working on 100cc, and it's such a pain in the ass. And then I'll unlock mirror mode, which is beyond a pain in the ass. So it's all for... I don't know, so I can put myself through more pain.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mentioned I was playing Mario Tennis Open last week. I'm still playing that. Nothing really new.
Yeah.
I wish there were. I played a little Halo Reach. It's been a while since I played some online. I find I play my best when I haven't played for a while. Online.
Yeah, I think I want to go in and play some multiplayer because I haven't really played since Anniversary Edition came out. So I haven't played any like the anniversary maps really in depth or anything. So
yeah, actually, I still have the little download code that it came with. I still haven't downloaded that. So
because James and I are still playing through Anniversary Edition on Legendary, so we have one more level that we skipped.
Yeah, I still haven't beaten that co-op either. So not alone on that. Okay, well, it is about the 50-minute mark here. We've kept it under an hour. That's pretty good. Whoa. We forgot to mention something pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you've made it this far, which I hope most people who listen to the show do, Nick, he mentioned the idea to me, and it makes sense. It makes sense to me. But it's going to start being a bi-weekly show, meaning... well, is bi-weekly the word? Because that sounds like there's going to be 2 a week.
No, bi-weekly.
Okay, all right. So there's going to be 1 every 2 weeks. So there'll be 2 a month instead of 4. Oh, it's not going to be weekly. It's going to be 1 every, 1 every 2 weeks, and we'll just keep doing it that way. Give them a little more time to circulate or whatever.
Just kind of spread the show out a little bit, like
yeah.
Make it not as stressful on the listener and not as stressful on us. So.
Yeah. So it's a lot easier to get less behind. Miss the one video, and all of a sudden next week one comes out. It's like, oh, that's 2 hours of videos. I don't have time. So
yeah, give us a chance to play some new games every week.
yeah, make the show a little bit more exciting. So yeah, so there will be this week. There won't be next week, but there will be the week after that, and then so on and so forth. I'll put something in the beginning, like of this video, some sort of caption, so I don't have to. So everybody, at least who watches it, should know. But yeah, that's gonna be happening then. So that's happening there.
Kind of spread it out.
Yep. And that's it. Yeah, make sure you like us on Facebook. Do that old ditty. And I think we're done.
I think so. Episode 8 in the book.
Yeah. So we will see you in 2 weeks. Remember. So until then, guys, we'll see you then, and take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. See you next time, guys.
Hey everybody, Cobra DVS and Neoflynn here again.
Hey, everybody.
Um, episode 8 this time around. Um, and I've got to open up the episode because I don't have it and I need to read the comments. But so yeah, let's wish the internet was a little faster because I could get there quicker, but all right, there it is. Okay, so we'll start off like always with some comments. Yep, alright. So we'll start with the 64-bit glasses. He says, you should do a live RattleCast. Um, well, I mean,
I'm not sure how that would work.
I would do it, I guess, but I'm not sure the audience is quite big enough to play. I don't know. Alright, well, that's it for the comments. So we can go ahead and start up some news. Nick, you can start her up.
Okay, well, we might as well start with our legal segment because, what we do. Keeping up the streak of having some sort of legal news. And of course it's the ongoing saga of Modern Warfare, EA, Activision, all that good stuff. But this one is that Activision and Infinity Ward actually settled their case over Modern Warfare 2 royalties, apparently out of court before it was. I guess it was supposed to start. The trial was supposed to start tomorrow. Well, today, if you're listening to this, but tomorrow as we record. But it was originally supposed to start the 29th of May, but then they pushed it back. And it's the case between West and Zampinella, the two guys that Activision fired right after Modern Warfare 2 came out. And they were claiming, that they were still owed royalty payments over the game, which Activision never paid, which later revealed that it was $27 million that they were owed, which is quite a bit. This doesn't say what they actually settled, but
I never use them for anything, I don't think.
Yeah, we're not a fan. I use Wario. Like, he's my character in Mario Party, but not Waluigi.
Okay, he goes, Intellivision Dude, one more time. He says, I'm sure I already discussed this with you in the past, Cobra, but I was once super addicted to Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. I still have hundreds of custom coasters I downloaded years ago. Maybe someday I'll put them on a disc and mail them to you. I wouldn't know what to do with that disc quite, but I'd certainly take it. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was never a fan of, pre-built coasters. I always tailored them to whatever I was trying to do.
Oh, certainly, yeah. That was the whole thing about the game to me, was making the roller coasters. Other than that, it was a good game and all, but building those coasters was fun. That's why the unlimited money was awesome, because you could make the roller coaster is infinite, it's as big as you want. Okay, in his last comment, he says, for once I didn't have to talk about Paper Mario since you did it for me. Okay. LV Peppy 38 says, great episode, guys. And Mr. B Lands, a.k.a. James, says, the worst video game experience of my life was with Mario Party 1. Everybody remember the now removed minigame where you had to spin the analog stick in a circle? I put the palm of my hand on the analog stick to get more rotations. In 20 minutes later, a huge blood blister popped, terrifying my friends and I and ruining my controller. I'll never forgive the series for that horrible moment. That's really funny. I know perfectly what he's talking about. I don't know the mini games, but I definitely remember putting my palm on that joystick and rotating it back and forth in a circle. It's
yeah. I'm trying to think if I've ever had a horrible gaming injury like that, but I don't think. I mean, I've gotten calluses on my thumbs during some marathon Halo sessions, but that's not the worst I've gotten.
I think probably the worst that's ever happened to me is in Guitar Hero when you play and your hands just start to hurt so bad.
Yeah.
That happens to me usually with my right hand on the frets because I play left-handed. So, but if you haven't played in a while and you just it hurts so bad after a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hot do it, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd even
What's
I guess
that?
we could do a live stream, but that
Yeah.
wouldn't really be the same thing. We couldn't do it at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea how it works. Okay. Intellivision Dude says, sounds like Cobra has a habit of starting games and not finishing them. You say quite often, I played a few minutes of this and a few minutes of that, LOL. He hit the nail right on the head.
I'm the same way, too.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many games that I've started and not finished. In fact, what I'm trying to do right now is sort of wrap those games up. Like, right now well, I'll talk to about that later, but I'm gonna, after I'm done beating this game, I'm gonna try and finish up Super Mario Galaxy 2, because I've had that for about 2 years almost, and I haven't beaten it, so.
Yeah, I'm terrible at that. Like, I start so many things and never finish them.
Yeah.
So.
Usually if it's like a shooter or something, I don't have a problem finishing those. Like a Halo or something like that. There's no doubt about that. I'll finish it. But. Alright, he says, I agree with Waluigi. While most people don't like him or don't know who he is, I use him every time I play Mario Party.